topic, the pursuit of love, and how that's being reflected in a popular new television show on Netflix. The Jewish Matchmaker sees single men and women in Israel and the United States. So it's a pleasure now to welcome professional matchmaker Aleeza Ben Shalom, star of the Netflix show Jewish Matchmaker. Aleeza, thank you so much for being on the show, and congratulations on the success of season 1.
Thank you so much for having me.
So now you say it's the toughest job in the world, single people looking to find their soulmates. Is it even more difficult when a camera is recording the work you do? It's such personal work. What was it like for you working in the spotlight, so to speak?
On one hand, people think, yes, it must be so much more difficult. And on the other hand, once we get in front of people and we're there in the moment, the camera almost disappears. And all of a sudden we're having a heart-to-heart. And that's why you see sometimes people are crying and they're tears, or they're laughing, or if they're nervous and they're excited, there's something going on. You're seeing real emotions happen. And for me, what I felt and saw was just the person in front of me. I'm not sure why I was so comfortable on camera, but I was very comfortable to be there. And for me, really, it was as if everybody didn't exist and the only person in front of me was the person that I was working with.
You certainly were very comfortable in front of the camera. Now, Aleeza, you alluded to it in the show. The original Jewish matchmakers are part of history. Some might even say it's an archaic concept. What are the main challenges for couples wanting to meet in the modern era when your future significant other could be swiping away with scores of other love interests on a range of dating apps? How is technology helping people when it comes to finding love, or is it making the process far more impersonal?
It's a little bit of both. I think that technology really does help people significantly. And the benefit of technology is we do have options. We could be anywhere at any time and talk to anybody, and we might find our match. And
looking for someone who is kacha kacha, as you're putting it. You were born in Philadelphia, living now in Israel, and the show sees you flying to several destinations, meeting single men and women. Some of the single people in the show have very specific requirements, whether it's physical looks or their place of origin. Is it easier to set up people who have a similar cultural background? What are the main deal breakers that have surprised you when speaking to young couples?
I think that everybody has different deal breakers, and for sure, having a cultural similarity is the best. By me, it's number one if we can have more in common in every area. So it could be cultural background, location, personality, just family, how we interact with each other. When we have things in common, it makes it so much easier. When there are cultural differences, it's actually a great challenge, because not only do I need to get to know you, but now I need to know the nuances and the differences of how you act and behave in the world. And I don't know, I might like you, but I might not like all of those little details. That might be a challenge for me. So the more that a couple can have in common, the easier it's going to be. Everybody will naturally have differences. Don't worry about that. It will be exciting enough, and you will have differences. Marry somebody who you have the most in common with. That makes it the easiest.
So then what are the main lessons learned? What advice would you be giving to single people when it comes to meeting their significant other? You say on the show, if in doubt, go out. In other words, if you're not sure, give the person a second chance or a second date. What other tips can you share right now?
We also say date them till you hate them, and I don't want anybody to hate anybody. I'm all about love.
Do you want to explain that?
Yes, I really want people to not just give the other person a chance. I want them to give themselves a chance to get comfortable with the person in front of them. And when they're feeling kacha kacha, that's just today. That's just date number 1. I don't know how you're going to feel on date number 2 or 3 or 5, and you don't know either. So let's give yourself time to just become comfortable with the situation, get to know somebody, and to be your best self, and to allow them to be their best selves as well. We need time to develop that relationship, and I believe when we do that, we empower ourselves to find somebody really great, and sometimes we also discover the best part of ourselves as well.
And very briefly, Aleeza, any insights on whether there is another season on the cards? We need to see who gets to the chuppah after all.
I know. I want to know too. So all I know is that we need everybody to watch all 8 episodes in every country around the world, and we will for sure get renewed. As of now, we don't have an answer, but I'm going to say a blessing, please God, that yes, it should work out. We should get a season 2, and everybody else just answers amen, and then the rest of the world, it works out, and it's going to be fine. Don't worry.
Well, as we say, Bahatzlacha to you, definitely not kacha kacha. Aleeza ben Shalom, the Jewish Matchmaker, a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.